Hello and welcome to our weekly wisdom. I am Tammy Jaffe, your host, helping you go from employee to entrepreneur without all the headaches. And this week we have a very special guest with us, Dannella Burnett. And Dannella has been behind the scenes, helping me in little ways, and has been someone that I have learned a lot from over the last year. So I wanted to bring her on and share her insight and her knowledge with you because you are going to get so much out of this because she is an expert at getting speaking gigs, about doing events, and is going to be sharing a wealth of knowledge with us today. So Dannella Burnett has been in the hospitality and special events industry since the age of 16. And
Long
just a
time.
couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
She has owned several businesses in Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, Georgia, won numerous local, national, and international awards, and frequently featured in industry publications. In 2008, she started Oakwood Occasions to offer North Georgia clients hospitality and event services. Services now include full service event planning and production and a true partnership approach to create successful events. OO was rebranded in 2018 as Encore Elite Events to truly reflect the national scope of clients and services. In addition to providing full event production and services, Encore Elite Events founded Speakers Need to Speak to provide education, talent management, and guaranteed gigs for speakers and sponsors. Clients include national speakers, celebrities, networking associations, nonprofits, large corporations, and brides with a vision. She is also a speaker on events and speaker strategies, women empowerment, overcoming, and networking. She's a coach for speakers, event hosts, vendors, and sponsors. She is a creative force that believes in multiple streams of income, collaboration, and always finding the win-win combination. I love that, Dannella. So tell us about the win-win combination of speakers getting into speaking gigs.
I was gonna
What
say we
are,
could have. I think that's my longer bio. That's like in the back of my last book. We could boil out all down to that last sentence, which is especially today in this virtual space. We do need to be creative. There's a lot of pressure on our time, how we're going to market, how we're growing our business. So being creative and finding ways to collaborate is critically important right now because we can't do it all ourselves. And we're looking to get in front of new audiences. We're looking to share our message, whether your message is more, impact driven or profit driven, coaching, you're a nonprofit, you need to get out there in front of new people and share your message. And collaborating with others can be a great way to do that. And in everything that we do, in supporting our speakers and in producing events, we're always looking for that win-win-win, that it's a win for the audience, it's a win for the event host, and it's a win for that speaker or sponsor. And together, that's where we look for that win-win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I know speakers, when people are first coming out as speakers, I think it's really difficult to find speaking gigs. And there's a lot of struggle that they go through in just figuring out the right gigs and how to get them. But once you get in it, it's actually they start coming to you like left and right, I think. But I think it's those first few tips that I know you're going to share some of those with us. Like, how do speakers get out there? And like you said, it's got to be a win-win for the people you're going to speak to, and you want to be in front of the right audience and want to have that right connection. So what are some of those things that speakers can do to make sure they're in front of the right audiences?
Well, there's many things that you can do, and just a little bit of background on why we got into this part of the event spaces. We've been producing events for a very long time, and we frequently would have spots on our platform or our client's platform where there was room for an outside speaker. So I was always, I had a long roster of speakers on different subject matter experts or different types of sponsors that would be a good fit for the events we were producing. And we always made sure it was a great experience for that speaker sponsor as well. And so we had many saying, well, what else do you have? What else do you have? So that's really where Speakers Need to Speak came from, because when enough people ask you for help in an area, then you take a look at, well, why do they need help? Because from my perspective, there were plenty of speaking opportunities. Pre-COVID, it was estimated there were 7,000 speaking opportunities every single day in the United States. And now in the virtual world, that number could be 2, 3, 4, 5 times that amount. So we really looked at, why did speakers need help? Because there's plenty out there. It's really finding them in time, discerning whether that's the right opportunity for you and your goals, and then securing that opportunity. So we looked at, well, what's the challenges that speakers have? There's so many out there. First off, it boiled down to researching and finding those opportunities. And speakers, it's hard when you're sitting there. Excuse me, just a second. My dog is moving my background. Sorry, that back door the door to my office got left open and the dog has rearranged everything. So welcome to working from home and studios from home in
Yes.
virtual space. So anyway, there we go. um, we so there's so many out there, but finding them and researching them, we found out that that's probably one of the least favorite activities that speakers have. So I'm going to give you 5 tips today, but they do involve time and doing some of that research that we found a lot of speakers don't really care to do, but it really must be done. And so whether it's done by you, whether it's done by a VA, or whether you use a service like ours that does some of that for you, these are still the same activities that need to take place. So would you like me to share those with you now?
Yeah, I would love that. And I can completely agree with you. The research is one of my least favorite things to do. And I will typically give it to one of my assistants, or I know I get some of your list as well. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But that is one of the things that, as a speaker and someone trying to get out there, you don't necessarily want to sit there and spend the time doing that, but it's so critical.
It is critical. And because if you don't have, there's 2 leads. If you're a speaker and you're building a speaking business, or you're using speaking to grow your business, there's 2 leads that you need in your business at all times. You need to have speaking leads, as you need to have those to be pursuing opportunities. And then you need leads in your business that are the clients that you sell to. So when I use leads in this context, it's that former. It's leads for speaking opportunities where you've done research, or you're getting a service that's getting you leads. You need to have a pipeline of speaking opportunities. Because what we found, a lot of speakers, because they don't like that research part, they will look at a calendar, and if there's some speaking opportunities on there, they kind of check out on the research part and go, oh, I'm good. But then they look at their calendar and there aren't speaking opportunities, and then they get busy and do the research. Well,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, that kind of roller coaster system feels busy, but it doesn't really move a speaker forward. What we discovered was having a system. And again, whether you're doing it yourself, you've got somebody on your team that is doing this part for you, or you're using an outside service, it still needs to be done. You have to have a system of having speaking leads, and those speaking leads kind of in the pipeline, who you're reaching out to, who you're following up with, and getting those speaking opportunities on your calendar so that you can consistently be speaking, whether it's once a month, once a week, multiple times a week. That kind of consistency is what will really grow your business and get you out in front of your ideal audience on a regular basis, which leads to the kind of endless leads that you need for clients and for collaborative partners. So you need both, and you need a system. So I want to share with you 5 things that you can do yourself, or you can train somebody on your team to do. 5 free ways to find speaking opportunities. And the first one is your network. taking a look at your network. Where are you associated with? What organizations are you a member of? And those might be professional organizations. They might be personal organizations. Could be your kids' PTO has speaking opportunities to speak to parents. And so it might be about business. It might be about relationships, whatever your topic is. There may be opportunities to speak in your personal connections as well as your professional connections. So take a look at your network. Take a look at where you're a member, what you're an organization, what you are connected to. See if there are speaking opportunities there. The second is taking a look at your past, especially if you've been a speaker for a little while. Take a look at speaking opportunities you've done in the past, reach out to them and see what opportunities they have now. You know, most businesses, since we've been in this virtual space for nearly a year, have shifted to virtual, but they may be advertising it differently. They may be advertising that speaking opportunity differently. So reaching back out to them where you have done things in the past to see if there's opportunities for the future is number two. And it might also be at events that you attended in the past. If you were ever sitting in the audience and you kind of looked to the left and the right and said, these are my people, I'd really like to be sharing with them. Maybe you were an attendee at that event in the past. Reach out to that event host and see if there's speaking opportunities at their events coming up
Yeah.
currently.
I love that. And it's so true, Daniela, that if you look at what you've done previously or events you've been at, once you start speaking at them, then that repetition comes in and you start getting asked. If you're a good speaker, you can get asked to come back and speak again the next year or at the next event, or they'll refer you to someone else. And so I think that's a great one to take a look at, because I know I've had that happen now that I've been speaking for a couple years. I've had past events reach out and say, we want you back at the next conference. I just
Mhm.
had someone reach out this last week and say, I spoke at their conference. They're like, can we have you do a workshop this month? And
Exactly.
so, yes, I love that. We're reaching out to your network. Number one, I'm putting them in the comments too as we go. Number two, looking at past events. What's number three?
Okay, so number three is collaborative partners. So, for example, you are a business coach for women. I'm not a business coach, but many of my speakers and event hosts are women. You are not a speaking coach and you don't provide services for speakers, but you it would be beneficial for you to speak to my audience, beneficial for me to speak to your audience. So we did this right here. We collaborated. And I don't know who reached out to who first, since we're connected in a few ways. But when you reach out to somebody and you say, hey, I'd love for you to come speak to my group, that reciprocity often kicks in. So either collaborative partnerships or what we like to call stage swaps,
Mm-hmm.
you can share your audience. If you have a similar audience with somebody, but you serve that audience in a different way, that is a great opportunity for a swap. And it could be as simple as an interview in a group. It might be an actual on a stage during their event. It might be a swap of, I'll promote you in my newsletter to my people, and they do the same. So those collaborations are great opportunities for speaking opportunities, but also just opening the door for good collaborative partnerships. So those kind of swaps and collaborations are great. I frequently will, because I'm an expert in speaking and events, I can collaborate with business coaches, speaking coaches, those who are in the book world, everything that kind of circles around my audience that can be helpful to them. I
Mm-hmm.
can do those kind of collaborative swaps with, and I get into more audiences. And I also bring more value to my own audience by introducing them to people of value. So collaborations are the third way that you can find speaking opportunities for free.
Yeah, I love that. Collaboration is huge, and I think in so many ways, especially when it comes to speaking. And I would say like, I love the idea. And yes, that's what we're doing here. We're collaborating. I did a live interview with you last month, and you're doing one with me this month. And part of why I do the Facebook live interviews, one, is because I want to bring more to my people. I
Yep.
want to bring them more experts in different areas, but also it gives me an opportunity to get in front of their audiences in different ways. And it gives people that, I think the one thing I think is so important, especially when you're newer to speaking and you're still trying to get your message down and hammer down, like what it is you are doing. The live interviews, podcast interviews are great ways to just get in front of the camera, get in front of the mic more often to get really clear on your message. And the more and more you do that, the better and better you get. So it's an added bonus to that collaboration as well. Uh,
Exactly. And
yeah.
those
So what's number four?
collaborations can lead to any, number of joint ventures. So number 4 is social media. So social media, of course, is such a great wealth of opportunity and knowledge and uh, opportunities. However, it can also be the rabbit hole. So I say social media, that you can find lots of great speaking opportunities looking on Facebook events, in LinkedIn, looking through their events. You can look ahead on calendars and see what's coming up, and see if there's speaking opportunities. You can find some of those collaborative partners. There's lots of opportunities on social media now, and almost what we're doing here, where there are now like talk show style social media. So LinkedIn, great place to find speaking opportunities and do interviews. Same thing with Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Now our newest social media that needs to be mentioned,
Yes. Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Yes.
Clubhouse and Facebook Lives, you literally can create your own stage. So
Mm-hmm.
for free, you can create your own speaking opportunity by doing what we're doing now and sharing on your own page in your own group, or in Clubhouse, starting a room. I now have 2 Clubhouse rooms that I'm hosting on a regular basis every month. I've literally created my own stage,
Yeah.
and one is on Tuesday evenings. 4 speakers need to speak, and where we have a topic about speaking, and we invite people to come up and share and get feedback. And I have other speaking coaches and event planners, in that group. And just starting next week on Mondays, with a fellow national event planner, we're going to be doing a Clubhouse room every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern with Club Pod, which is a huge growing podcast community. We're going to be doing a Clubhouse room called Podcasts and Events: How to Grow Your Audience, Your Authority, and Your Profit, because there's a great correlation between using podcasts to get your message out there. You can use that to fill your events if you have a live event coming up. And of course, your live event can bring you topics and bring you more of an audience if you have a podcast. So we're going to be doing a room there to highlight that relationship and to support people. So just
Good.
basically created 2 stages for myself every single week, where I can share the valuable information that I have and can find some of those new collaborative partners and more speaking opportunities. So social media,
Yes. Love
4th
it.
freeway.
Yeah. Social media is awesome. And I think, Clubhouse is the new thing for speakers, right? And I don't know what your experience, I don't want to go down the whole rabbit hole with Clubhouse, but I will say, I have also started to weekly groups in there. One is on Mondays, Inspired to Disrupt, where we talk about disruptive topics for entrepreneurs.
Nice.
And another one that I do with some of my Speak Mastermind partners, and we pick different subjects every week, and we do on Friday afternoons. And so I think the collaboration with Clubhouse, it's huge. And being able to, because you can't do Clubhouse on your own, it just doesn't work well.
Right.
You have to collaborate. So we're bringing number 3 and number 4 together.
Exactly.
And it's been my experience, it starts off slow and building some of the rooms, but I've already gotten a client from it. So
Mhm.
just having 1 or 2 people in the room can lead to potential opportunities for you. So
Yep.
I think that's a big one coming.
Yep.
Awesome.
And without going too far down the Clubhouse rabbit hole,
Yes.
obviously, your bio is important there, how you show up in social media. Because
Hmm.
the other thing that kind of falls under social media is, are you using social media to even let people know that you're a speaker looking for speaking opportunities? Every once in a while, you could post your speaker one sheet. You could, be putting that out there in LinkedIn or Facebook that you're seeking speaking opportunities, and what kind of opportunities. So, you can use social media as outreach as well as a great place for research and connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one thing, like I did a speaker's reel this last year. And so I've put it out a couple times, like, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, you're looking for speakers. So I love that little tip as well. I mean, I think it's good to remind people that you've got to keep putting yourself out there as the speaker, as the expert, and these are the things that you talk on. Excellent. So what's number 5?
So number 5, you might want to get, if you're not already taking notes on the 1 through 4, you might want to get a piece of paper to take this one down, because it'll make a little bit more sense if you write it down. The biggest way to, for free, find speaking opportunities is to actually do research using Google. The great Google monster is filled with opportunities, but you do need to have a real plan for how to research and how to use Google. So I'm a big believer that speakers need to speak, but they also need to get paid. So I use the acronym SAIL, but it's spelled a little bit differently. SAALE. Because when you speak, at some point in the process, you are looking for a sale, whether it's a direct sell from stage opportunity, or you're speaking to grow your authority, or you're speaking to lead generate, and then you're going to take those leads that you've generated and you're going to follow up by email or phone, or whatever your sales process is. You're hoping to identify those people you can serve. Or if you are speaking to get paid for speaking and more of a keynote or a corporate speaker, there has to be money in there somewhere. Whether it comes before, during, or after the talk, there still needs to be money. So that's why I like the SAIL acronym. And so that's what you're going to use when you do your searches. The S stands for speaking opportunity. So when you search, you're going to use some version of speaking, speaker opportunity, speaking gig, some version of speaking as your first keyword. And all of these are keywords that you can switch up each time in order to get more and different search results. The 2 A's stand for 2 different descriptors of your perfect audience. Now, if you're working with a business coach like Tammy, you probably already have a long list of adjectives and nouns that describe your perfect audience member. And I want you to use 2 of them every time you do a search. And the reason I recommend 2, and there's 2 A's, is by being a little bit more targeted each time you do the search, you're just going to get some better results. So look at your long list of adjectives and nouns that describe your perfect ideal client and use 2 of them. So maybe it's millennial dentists. Maybe it's women professionals. Maybe it's women women in HR. I mean, it really, the list is endless, but you use 2 of them. One that might be more of a description, more of an adjective, and one that's a little bit more of a noun, but use those to really, really target your speaking opportunity, because you want those best results to come up on that first or second page so that you have good things to research. Then the L stands for location. And location, now we know most of our events, are virtual, but the location is still important, because most event hosts still have the greatest influence in their general area. And so whether you're looking to serve a specific audience in a specific geographic, or your products or services are best served in an area, that location is still important, whether it's an in-person, hybrid, or virtual event. maybe your products and services are better for a local market. So you might put in the city or the state or the county in for a location. Maybe you want to speak across the country. You might put in different states and see what comes up. Maybe you want to really break into a new area. Or maybe you're already speaking. Maybe we're back to travel and you're already speaking at a gig in California. You might want to do a search for other events in California and do more than one speaking event per trip. So location is still important, whether it's in-person, hybrid, or a virtual event, because the influence of that particular event host is still likely to be concentrated closest to where they're at, and you might want to pinpoint to offer your products and services.
That's awesome.
And then the last one is event type. And what that stands for is the kind of event that you want to speak at. Maybe you're a newer speaker, or maybe you like a more intimate kind of speaking opportunity. And if that's the case, you might use words like meetup or workshop or networking. Maybe you want to speak on bigger stages. And so you might use words like live event or conference or expo. Those words that describe the kind of event that is also going to give an idea of the size and type of event. So that's what the E stands for, is the event type. And again, by changing out those keywords and keeping track of what keywords you used and what events popped up, you're now going to have contact information, maybe speaking applications online, websites, where you can then take a closer look at that event and see what speaking opportunities they have available.
Excellent. That is so many amazing tips. Like, this is like laying it all out for them. And now it's just up to them to go put in the words, figure out where they want to speak, and go do some of the work, because this is key. I mean, just sitting down and taking a couple hours to take these tips that Dannella has given you is going to make a huge impact if you really want to get out there and speak, if you really want to get out there and get in front of the right people. This is going to be amazing for you all. And now, Dannella, I know you have a very special gift that you have for our audience as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
So these were the 5 free speaking opportunities, and these are free ways that you can get out there. What they are all going to cost you is time, whether it's your own time, whether it's somebody on your team's time. These are free ways to find speaking opportunities, but you do have to put in the work. So my gift for you is a little introduction to a better way of getting this part of the job done. And that is our services, Speakers Need to Speak, where we provide our clients with speaking leads every single month, 100 hot speaking leads every month, where my team has done some of that work for you. And you can start every month with 100 speaking leads to immediately go into which ones are the right fit for you. So my free gift today is you're going to get our Speakers Need to Speak Crush It from the Stage checklist, which is just a valuable resource for, are you prepared? Are you ready to be profitable from the stage? It's going to also invite you to a conversation with me to see if I can help you maximize some of your speaking opportunities. And you're going to get 100 hot speaking leads as a sample of what we provide our clients every month.
Awesome. That is incredible. To get that sample gives you 100 leads already. So whether you think you want to be speaking more, whether you just need to get in front of more people, go grab that freebie, and Dannella will post it in the links in the comments as we are done here so that you can have that link directly. And if you have questions that you're like, okay, but what about this, Dannella? What do I do in this situation? How do I get in front of this group of people? She will be happy to answer your questions. So whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, type your comments in the questions. Be sure to tag Dannella, and she will come back and take a look at what the questions are that's coming up for you. But go grab her freebie and get your first 100 leads list, because that is an incredible value. I get a leads list from her every month. We go through them, we reach out to the ones that are right for us, and it has saved us a ton of time on research, which I don't like to do anyway. So that's very helpful. Awesome. Well, thank you, Daniela. This has been so much fun having you here. And I know it's been an incredible value for those watching. And so I appreciate you being here with us today.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me here today, and I know that you're working with this busy business owners, and you need to get out there. And it's never been as easy as it is here in the virtual world. I mean, you can literally speak anywhere in the world from the comfort of your own home, but you need to get out there. And the research needs to be done so that you can get out there. And like you mentioned, the benefit of getting out there is speaking kind of begets speaking. When you start to get out there on a consistent basis, you also consistently will get more opportunities. So, like using our service, we want to just get you out there and get you out there more frequently, knowing that once you do, you're going to get more opportunities, more invitations. Then you can keep your speaking calendar full, which is going to keep your sales funnel full. It's going to keep your client leads full. And that's what we want for you as business owners, because that's how you impact the world.
Yes, yes, and yes. Who doesn't want a full list of leads and people coming in? So now you've heard it from me before. Now you hear it from Daniela. Get out there and get your message out there, get seen, get heard. And I love that you brought up the fact that it has never been easier, Danielle, because that is so true. It is so much easier now to be able to get out there and do the things that get you up on stage. It was harder when it was in person. You had to travel. Now you can do 2 speaking engagements in a day and it doesn't even matter where they're at.
Yep.
So this is the opportunity. This is the time for speakers to really get in front of more people and have a bigger impact. So awesome. Thank you all. And that link will be in the comments in just a few minutes. So go grab that and get inspired to get out there, get inspired to do the things that you want to do, so that you can build the life that you want to build. Awesome. It was great having you all here with us on this weekly wisdom. We will see you the next one.